Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So one of my viewers asked a great question the other day. They asked me what are the most common items I find while scrapping, as well as approximately what kind of money can I get from these items in terms of scrap metal. So what I have behind me are actually my top 6 most common items I find. I find now a lot of flat screen TVs. I used to find a lot of the traditional cube style that are loaded with copper. Unfortunately, those are becoming more scarce, but the flat screens do have some really good material in them as well. I find a lot of fans, a lot of upright fans or small office stand fans. Find a lot of lamps, different sizes. I find tons of vacuum cleaners, and not only household vacuum cleaners, but a lot of shop vacs as well. I find a lot of microwaves, and finally, I also find a lot of dehumidifiers. And the first thing I do want to say about all of them is every electronic or appliance that you find on garbage day does have scrap money value to it. It depends obviously on the material inside of it, depends on the size of them. These items I just used as random. Obviously, your TVs come in different sizes, different metals that are on them, but this is one that I'm using for this experiment. The other thing that you want to do is check to see if the items work. I find a lot of dehumidifiers, for example. I have donated several of them that work perfectly fine to Goodwill. I also sell a number of them every year at a community yard sale, and I'm going to make a lot more money selling them in workable condition than I would breaking it down into scrap metal value. But as I said, for this experiment, I did break them all down. I am going to talk about the different metals inside of them, some of the values, as well as, showing you how to identify the metals and, more importantly, to maximize your profit. So great question. Here we go. So the first thing about this TV, it is a large TV and very heavy. I could have brought it in whole, got electronic TV price. It's about 5 cents a pound, so definitely better than nothing. But the nice thing about this one is I have already taken it apart. The only items that I have left are the black screen and the plastic in the back. And the nice thing about this is I am actually going to bring this to our electronic depot facility in the area. They will be able to take this, send it off to the company, and they will be able to recycle this properly and take whatever they need out of it. The nice thing is with this TV, the back is very heavy. As you can see, I put a magnet to it. It sticks. So the back is tin, as well as I have a lot of nice brackets inside of here that come off of it. A lot of the brackets are meant to be used to mount them on the wall. A lot of them have great weight to them. They are all metal. So right here alone for my tin pile, I actually have, just the back is 30 pounds. All of the tin shred I have here actually weighs 43 pounds. And currently, tin and shred are at an all-time high. It continues to stay at that price. So 44 pounds of tin I have right there alone, $4.40 worth if I got 10 cents for the bundle. As you can see, very easy to build up weight. It does not take up a lot of space, which is great. So tin shred there. I also have a couple really nice circuit boards in here. These circuit boards, again, depending on the TV, but this one had 2 really nice aluminum heat sinks. These aluminum heat sinks are actually what we call extrusion, so a form of aluminum, and extrusion right now is going for $1.53 a pound. There's almost a pound and a bit here, about 1.2 pounds worth. So that is a great price. Extrusion, very recognizable. You can see it's aluminum that looks like it's been put through a press. Some extrusion, some aluminum heat sinks that you're going to find come in black. For example, this one. These ones would not be extrusion. This would actually just be clean aluminum because it does not look like there are grooves and things in it. So you do want to make sure you separate it. But there are obviously different styles of aluminum heat sinks. These ones, I'm not going to fuss. These are aluminum. Okay, I put a magnet to them. They are painted, so you don't want to have them in with your clean metallic looking aluminum, but these still are going to give me about 50 to 60 cents a pound. And these are off of a different TV, and these are heavy as well. These are 13 ounces worth of aluminum, so that's great. You do want to make sure you pull the pins off because these pins are magnetic, and if you have these on there, you're going to get penalized for a dirty load. So very easy to do. You just take a pair of pliers, pinch them off, they fall right off. So a little bit of tin on there, but you want to clean that. I have a couple low-grade circuit boards, and the nice thing with the circuit boards, I did get a little bit of copper off of that. This is all copper windings that come off of your circuit boards. This does not weigh too much, about 4 ounces here, but the nice thing about copper that comes off of circuit boards, it's all counting as number 2 copper wire, and number 2 copper wire is actually going for currently $4.44 a pound. So I throw all of this into a bag. Copper off of circuit boards is a great way and great place to find copper. As well, you do have these pins that are attached to your aluminum heat sinks. These are also going to be copper, number 2 copper, so I do cut these off. I have a nice big bin of them, which is great. Adds up quickly, so a little bit of number 2 there. I also have the flat screen TVs, also have a nice couple circuit boards that are, as you can see there, really nice gold plated all the way down. At a scrapyard, you're gonna have to check with your scrapyard. Most scrapyards will give you low grade value or circuit board price, e-waste price. And again, it varies. Some places have it for 6 to 10 cents a pound. Some are 20 cents. A great option for these ones with the gold are actually online sources. In the US, there's called boardsource.com, and they will actually give you for circuit boards like this that have the visible gold on them, about $2.60 American, so $3.70 Canadian a pound, which is definitely better than a scrapyard. So that is one option. I have a ton of these that I'm waiting to just bring in a massive load. But again, this one actually had 2 really nice circuit boards like this. Some scrapyards will give you what we call here high grade circuit board price, which is probably about 25 cents a pound, 20 to 25 cents a pound, depending on what materials are on it. So something like this one, not much on there. There's no precious metals. This is going to be your low grade board, so worth maybe 5 cents a pound. Okay, so there is a difference. But again, all in all, probably from this TV alone, I have about $6 worth of scrap metal, which is great. Another one I want to look at is a fan. Fans, again, I find a lot of them that work. I do have a small one here that I've taken apart. There is a little bit of plastic, unfortunately. There is always a nice metal base. This only weighs 2 pounds, but this is, again, going to go into tin shred. Okay, so it does stick, which is great. Usually the fins or the casing, it also sticks, as you can see. So here's some more tin shred. So I probably have right here about 4 pounds of tin. I have inside of it a motor. You do want to check the motor. This motor, I've scratched it. There is some number 2 copper on here. There's maybe 3 or 4 ounces again, but it all adds up. The nice thing about these also is I can also put the rest of it into my tin shred pile once I get the copper out of it. So this actually weighs 2.4 pounds worth of tin shred, all of this combined. So I have probably about 6 pounds worth of tin shred from this fan. I also have a really nice cord. Now these cords, there is not a pound here, but it's probably half a pound, which is, 8 ounces. Nice thing about this is if I take it up to the camera, you can see 2 wires or individual wires that are kind of put together. There is, this at a scrapyard would be classified as 60% copper recovery appliance wire. The reason it's called 60% is because there are 2 strands that have 1 coating of plastic. This right now at a scrapyard is going for $2.03 a pound. The nice thing is too, it has some brass prongs. Some people leave those on for the weight. I actually take these off and put them into my brass bucket. Brass right now is going for about $3.80 Canadian a pound. Again, there's definitely not a pound here, but I have a whole bunch of prongs that I am adding up together and definitely keeping separate. But again, a nice 60% copper recovery appliance wire. Lamps. Lamps are a huge item that I find, which is great. The stand-up ones like this, as you can see, it's too big to fit into this camera. It also has a nice appliance wire. But the nice thing about these lamps is this lamp actually has, from the top where you put your light bulb, the wire goes all the way down this. Very easy, as you can see, if I unscrew it. It's going to unfold, hopefully. There it goes. There is the wire still right there. I do see a lot of people, actually, when they come across the lamp, they will just cut the bottom, take this, and they will actually leave the rest of the cable in here. This one is heavy, but it is a little bit deceiving because there is obviously a sand block under here or a cement weight. But once I take that out, there is definitely going to be, 4 or 5 pounds of tin shred here. There's going to be a really nice, this is definitely going to be 1.5 pounds of appliance wire. There is sometimes brass in there. A lot of times as well, lamps do work perfectly fine. I've donated a whole bunch of them to different Goodwills and things. People are just changing out their style. Find actually a lot of them at staging areas or people that are moving out. They just throw them in there. So definitely check to see if they work. Obviously better scrapping than landfill, but being able to donate them or resell them is a better option. But definitely lamps. Vacuum cleaners. Again, vacuum cleaners. I have found so many vacuum cleaners. It's hard to keep track. And I do want to use vacuum cleaners to nail down or nail home a message. I do have another viewer that said they no longer take vacuum cleaners because the motor inside is no longer copper. And yes, that is true. There are a lot of vacuum cleaners that have replaced their copper winding with aluminum instead. It's cheaper. But there are a lot of great things on shop vacs and vacuum cleaners. Some of your vacuum cleaners, again, work perfectly fine. They do maybe get gumped up with something. I have found one that was a Dyson that only just had a marker jammed in it. I actually took the marker out. I was nice enough to bring the vacuum cleaner back to the person. They said they already have a vacuum cleaner. They bought a new one, so keep it. So I had a brand new Dyson vacuum cleaner, which was awesome. A lot of people, because they have changed them over to aluminum winding, will just drive by and take the power cord. Now the power cord, these ones are what we call 40% copper recovery. And the reason is, as you can see inside, there are two individual strands that have their own coating of plastic. As well, there is an outside coating of plastic. There is more plastic, less copper. So it is going to be 40% copper recovery. And this is currently right now going for $1.23 a pound, which is still great. Vacuum cleaner cords are a great source of scrap material. There's probably 2 and a bit pounds here, so over $2 worth of wire. It's easy to take. But again, if I was to open them up, there is always, so here's just a power head from a different style. A lot of times the arm here is going to be steel, so you could throw this into your steel pile. This one is actually stainless steel. This is going to be higher value. Some of them are aluminum I've seen, but stainless steel definitely is what this is. It's stronger than the aluminum ones. But if you open it up, it always has some other goodies in it. There is some more wire. There's some more metal. As well, your power heads are also going to have a nice copper bearing motor here. This copper bearing motor, I'm just going to leave this as is. This is actually 2.5 pounds. So this is going to go into, I can put it into my copper bearing motor pile. I can't open this other than without a hammer. But another option, because copper bearing motors are about 10 cents a pound, this does have a lot of steel on it. I could just throw this right into my tin shred pile as is and get the weight with my steel. So again, 10 cents to 13 cents a pound. So that's definitely a good score. There is also a little bit of metal on here. I do take all the screws off. Yes, there is a little bit of plastic, but there is some good scrappable material in here. As well, if I did take this and leave everything else. A lot of times as well, if I turn this around, as you can see, put a magnet to this, it sticks. This has a really nice coil, steel coil on it. The scrapyards will take this. It does count as tin shred pile. So this whole arm here, it doesn't look like a lot, even though there is plastic on it, they will still take it, which is great. This model here does have here, this is aluminum. So there's some aluminum here that's gonna be clean once I cut it out. I do have to do a little bit of hammering to take some of the plastic out of there for sure. The motor that people do not want to take is usually right in there. You know, a lot of screws. And the nice thing about that is you do want to check to see if it is copper or aluminum. All you really have to do once you take it out is scratch the windings. If the windings are scratched and it reveals a metallic look, it means that they're going to be aluminum. This one is copper that came out of one vacuum cleaner. The other vacuum cleaner, unfortunately, was going to be steel. But the nice thing about this as well is I can still bring this motor in, take it apart. There is a little bit of clean aluminum on here. So this is 50 cents a pound. It's not a pound, but definitely adds up. But the rest of this, even though this could be aluminum, this is going to go into my tin shred pile. And this inner yoke, that is copper. So this is going to be going into my copper motors. Some people will take the copper out of these. I don't think it's worth it. But either way, this motor is still over, 2 pounds worth of tin shred. So it's definitely worth something. The other great one, microwaves. As I said, microwaves are a great source of scrapple material. Some people, especially because of the weight, they are a lot of tin shred. This microwave actually weighs 24 pounds with everything in it. And one of the things that people look for with the microwaves are these nice, great big transformers. Unfortunately, this one, I've already scratched it. Both of these windings are aluminum. If one of these were copper, I would definitely take the opportunity to open it up and get that copper out to put it into my number 2 copper. But again, the nice thing about that, even though this is aluminum, this whole thing I'm gonna just throw into my transformers, which is about 10 cents a pound, or because it's a lot of tin shred, I could just throw it right into my microwave and get the weight for it. So really nice there. Like I said, 20 pounds just on this one, so $2 for that microwave. I've got this, which is actually 10 pounds right here. These magnetrons that come out of them do have a great source of nice tin shred as well. There's always 2 beautiful magnets. One of my viewers asked about the magnets, how to get them out. And again, I have a video on taking those out. I actually bring these to school. All of the classrooms have these on the walls. Great thing to use to hold up Bristol boards. Very strong. I've actually magnet fished with these. But your magnetrons also have a lot of nice copper and some circuit boards. As you can see, there's some copper here. I've got on the inner, this is your part where it's dangerous. I've put taper on it to make sure that I don't disturb potentially the beryllium. But the nice inner core, that is copper as well that I actually cut out. And I have a video on that, but some really nice copper here. I also have a nice fan motor that has some nice copper, easy to take that off, so some more nice, beautiful copper. As well, on the magnetron, a little bit more aluminum. So a microwave, something like this, I'm probably gonna get about, as I said, let's say 35 pounds worth of tin, so $3.50 for that. I'm gonna get, I think here, I have about 6 ounces of copper, so almost $1 and a bit. A little bit of aluminum here, not a pound, maybe 15, 20 cents worth, but definitely better than nothing. So again, about here, probably $3.50. As well, I also have the cord that comes with it. This cord, again, this is your 40% copper recovery, really thick outer wire cable. As you can see, I've taken off the brass prongs, put them into my brass. This is a pound, so again, $1.23 for this, so add that to the weight. The last one I do want to talk about, dehumidifiers. As I already said, I have found a number of them. I actually have 5 of them downstairs. ready to sell for my yard sale in the spring. They work perfectly fine. A lot of people will buy them, you know, for their house, use it for a year, 2 years, and then try and get rid of them. The nice thing about these, and the most important thing, they do have a compressor, and the compressor, as you can see right here, it is actually illegal to cut that to release the gases out of it. You do have to get it done properly due to environmental concerns. I have a friend that comes in once I have a bunch of compressors, and they will flush them properly, safely, and effectively. But as you can see here, some really nice things. If you open up the compressor, there is a really nice copper coil here. I do have a video on taking apart compressors, so if you're interested, go check that out. This one, like I said, very easy to do. Some people will leave these as is and get paid compressor weight. It's about 5 cents a pound, and this actually I think weighs 12 pounds. But in my opinion, again, very worth your time to take it apart and get the copper out. You also have inside of here some really nice copper tubing. As you can see, this copper has a little bit of coating on it that I just have to peel off. It just comes off really easily. This copper right here is going to be number 1 copper, and currently number 1 copper is going for $4.75 a pound, which is an awesome price. And you do want to make sure, in order to maximize your profit here, you do have to recognize and cut off the soldering parts. So here, for example, there is some soldering. In order to get number 1 for this, I am going to have to cut here as well as here. This little piece is going to be number 2 copper. The rest of this is going to be number 1. And that's because number 2 copper is any copper that has paint on it, soldering, thinner than 16 gauge if it's wire. Okay, so I have a little bit of number 2 at $4.45. The rest of it, $4.75, which is awesome. I have 2 aluminum or copper radiators here, as you can see. Some really nice copper. Again, there is your soldering, so I have to cut that off. These are actually as is going for $2.77 a pound. There is 4 pounds here, but that's also because there is some steel on here. I do have to cut that off. As well, it is worth your while to actually take an angle grinder or just a saw and cut down these coils. These coils I would throw into my number 2 pile, and I would just bring in this part as the copper radiator. That's because, as I said, higher value for these coils as number 2 for these one, or number 1 for these ones because there's no soldering. These ones would be number 2 because there is soldering. But again, a lot better value for these coils than bringing this in as is. And as well, I do have a video where I will actually take out the copper from these aluminum copper grills. As you can see, these are my pieces. They're not heavy. They are very easy to take out. They are messy. I would definitely strongly suggest using gloves because those aluminum fins are very sharp. But in my opinion, those are a great source of scrappable material. You also have your 60% copper or 40% copper recovery from this wire. This wire does weigh 1.5 pounds, which is great. There's some silver contacts and a little bit of copper on the circuit board, but really great find with these, even though there is a lot of outer plastic. There is definitely, so I would say one of those dehumidifiers, usually, because they are very heavy, I'm going to get, let's say, $4, $5, probably about $7 for all of that, especially if I take the time and cut out the copper windings from that. So great value for all of those, but again, those are my 6 top most common items. Flat screen TVs now, vacuum cleaners, fans, lamps, microwaves, dehumidifier. The most common item, probably, if I was to name it, rank it, as the first one, definitely be vacuum cleaners. And that's obviously, every house has one, so the chance to find them obviously increases. So, hope that answered that question. Some great scrappable material here. As I said, great items. You do want to make sure you check to see if it works first because, as I said, a lot of items are thrown out and work perfectly fine. Dehumidifiers are a great one. that happen with that. Fans, another great one if I was to say my top 2 that are thrown out. So again, thank you for those questions. Keep them coming. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Tin Man out.